surrounding GMOs, and Dr. Prasanna has been helping us bust some of the myths and misconceptions surrounding GMO. Now, I'd like to know what fuels all this skepticism from your view.
I think the debate around the GM crops is mostly a polarized debate.
Yes.
It's not as much about science as is about consumers' beliefs. For instance, there are quite a number of people who believe in organic farming and would not like to tinker with the nature. But at the same time, there are experts and public who need technology, who embrace GM technologies, primarily because they get to defeat some of the major problems through these genetic innovations, and help to get better income and better food security, and help make the children go to schools, especially those resource-constrained smallholder farmers. So the debate is a polarized, but there has to be a middle ground. There has to be an understanding, greater awareness amongst the consumers about the pros and cons. GM maize or GM crops are not certainly magic bullets. They won't make the productivity challenges disappear suddenly. We need a suite of innovation, suite of technologies. Genetics is only one part of it. We also need improved agronomic management, enabling policies, better value chains, better storage facilities. All these together contribute towards better food security.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about the fact that the lifting of the ban is not just about GMOs, but it also goes into climate change and how Kenya can play its own role in that.
I'm very glad that the cabinet note talks about adaptation to climate change. This is especially very, very important in sub-Saharan Africa, as well as in regions like South Asia, which are the hotspots for climate change. Increasing temperatures, increasing incidence of drought, increasing frequency of devastating pests and diseases, they pose major problems to the smallholder farmers. We need powerful technologies to counter this and to protect the farmers' food security and make food affordable to the consumers. So that's where organizations like what I work for, the CIMIT is the International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center, with its headquarters at Mexico, but it has a very strong footprint and impacts in Africa, Asia, Latin America. It's one amongst the CGIR, Consultative Group on International Agricultural Research Centers, which has a non-profit focus and geared towards scientific innovations that protect the food security and livelihoods of smallholder farmers.
Absolutely. And far from CIMIT, you're also affiliated leader of the one CGIR Plant Health Initiative. I'd like to know how these organizations are contributing to innovation and technology as far as agriculture is concerned.
I lead this one CGIR Plant Health Initiative together with the innovation, demand and scaling partners in Africa, Asia, Latin America, and connecting 10 CGIR centers which are working on diverse array of crops, not only maize, but also wheat, rice, grain legumes, roots, tubers, bananas, vegetables. In all these crops, plant health threats are major. Kenya itself has witnessed a devastating attack of maize lethal necrosis, a viral disease in 2011 onwards. And the disease rapidly spread to several countries in Eastern Africa. But through our very intensive efforts with partners, we could stop the flow of the disease from Eastern Africa to Southern Africa or West Africa, saving hundreds of millions of dollars of crop loss. Similarly, the fall armyworm is another major challenge, which affects maize crops throughout Sub-Saharan Africa as well as now in Asia Pacific. So these are the threats that we do need to simultaneously tackle. One of the important achievements of organizations like CIMIT is to develop drought-tolerant maize varieties. These drought-tolerant maize varieties today occupy around 7.5 million hectares out of 40 million hectares in Sub-Saharan Africa. And that is a very, very important aspect to protect the smallholders' food security by genetic innovations. This is natural,
Yes.
conventional, drought-tolerant varieties, no GM involved, but a very important option to the farmers.
Yes.
Similarly, for fall armyworm, we have developed conventional native genetic resistant fall armyworm varieties. And these are under national performance trials in Kenya.
Yes.
And hopefully will be released soon.
Yeah.
So the idea here, Trixie, is to provide farmers with a range of choices, options, powerful choices, so that they can adopt, depending upon their interest and their affordability and their access, these genetic innovations together with agronomic management and improve their productivity at the farm level.
Right. And as we wind up the conversation, I'd just like to know for the farmers watching at home, what the impact would be for small companies. Could you help them understand why this is, good?
You see, the most important thing, whether it is for the farmers or for the seed companies, we need to reduce the cost of cultivation.
Yes.
For a seed company, we need to reduce the cost of seed production. And seed production typically is challenging under stress-prone environments in Africa because of incidence of diseases and pests. By technologies like GM technologies, their cost of cultivation can come down significantly because they will have much reduced use of pesticides.
Yes.
And at the same time,